I was just in the process of recording the video for SmackDown, and I was scrolling through Facebook and I was just looking around because you never know what kind of news you're going to find. And there was something that popped out to me that I actually haven't considered yet. Who is not on the WrestleMania card? Now, I understand that not everyone is going to be on the WrestleMania card. That that is a given, but considering it's two nights now, it just doesn't make any sense. Now, the source I'm reading from is WWE Nostalgia. Now, don't know who they are. I'm not even following that page, to be quite honest with you. And some of the names that they've missed off the list just simply doesn't make any sense, right? So I'll read out the following: Tiffany Stratton, Io Sky, Rey Fenix, Carmelo Hayes, which they said is out due to an injury, but that doesn't make any sense. And I'll explain why. Julia, Dragunov, Damian Priest, and Raquel. So let me tell you about the names first that I think are a bit suspect and why I just don't believe it. And I think it's more the lines of WWE just for whatever reason have decided not to put them on the card. I personally don't think that Carmelo Hayes is injured. I don't see it. Maybe I need to do a little bit more research on this, and maybe I need to find out and see if this is true or not, but I simply just don't believe he's injured. And, okay, let's just assume they knew he was injured before he dropped the championship. Okay, that's fine. But to then keep having him on television, okay, he's not actually taking part in in-ring action, but then why wasn't Liv Morgan on television when she injured her shoulder? You see what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense. I just don't think WWE had any faith in him that he could actually carry a match at WrestleMania or get any solid reaction, and that's what I really think it is. And I understand in some of his open challenges, like, the reaction wasn't always the best, and I actually didn't watch every single match. I only caught up the past couple of weeks until he lost the championship. When I paid attention to some of those matches, they were very good matches. And the same also applies to Dragunov. They actually had very good matches together. Now, I don't know what might happen with there literally just being one more SmackDown before WrestleMania. But if they throw like Dragunov or Carmelo Hayes in the last minute, let's assume they say, well, he's injured. It'd feel rushed. It would absolutely feel rushed. I feel like they should have made it a fatal four-way, and I feel like the only reason why Sami Zayn actually got the spot that he did was because, I mean, it sounds sad to say, but he represents Saudi Arabia. He does. I mean, he represents a lot of countries, but I think they had to have somebody who they could at least say represents the Saudis on the show. And if you think about how WWE kind of hires their talent or puts talent in certain positions, they have a certain talent that fits a niche market. Drew McIntyre for Scotland, Jinder Mahal when they wanted to branch out into India was there for India. People like Xia Li was there and very influential to people in China. Asuka for people in Japan. William Regal was people in Britain. And I think with how much the Saudis are actually involved with WWE, it wouldn't surprise me if Sami Zayn is actually in that position because they want somebody to represent the Saudis. And if that's the reason, then I personally think they've just screwed over two talents that have been working extremely hard to hopefully get their shot at WrestleMania. And something tells me after this WrestleMania, we're going to find out about it one way or another. We're going to find out because they're going to release their documentary series that they like to do where they peel back the curtain, and they're going to end up exposing something regarding that anyway. And I have a feeling it's going to be there. Or they can keep it kayfabe and just completely just run with the idea that he was injured. But explain Dragunov because, again, they've been working hard. Again, they didn't get the best reaction on the show, and their matches probably weren't the best, but they were solid workhorse matches. Next up, Io Sky. I mean, you're telling me Rhea Ripley couldn't have done a double duty? Think about it. She could have easily done a double duty that night, and then they could have had some type of, I don't know, fatal four-way. I don't know how many tag teams are in the mix for the Women's Tag Team Championships, but they could have done it. But now she's completely left off the card. I mean, what's Io going to do? Have a fight with B-Fab? Meacham? It just doesn't make any sense. I'll quickly move on, but I feel like she should have at least had some role to play. Damian Priest, I understand this one. He's just not over. He's just not over, and I get it. I get it. I understand when he's in the Judgment Day, he's that big guy. He's got that, he's got that mature looking face. He looks like he could be somebody. But if you listen to every time his music hits, he gets that instant pop, and it dies off. And when he gets on the top rope and he spreads his arm out or puts his arms in the air trying to command a reaction, he never got anything at all. And I was having this debate with somebody on Facebook a while back, and they was like, no, Damian Priest is over. I was like, he's not. It's like everyone who thinks that Trick Williams right now is going to be like the next Rock. He's not. Unfortunately, he's not. And I know it's hard, but we need to understand that he's not going to be that individual either. I'm not saying he's not going to make it. I'm not saying he can't be WWE champion. He's leaps and bounds ahead of a lot of the talent that's already on the roster, but he's not the guy. I'm going off track here, but Damian Priest, I can understand why he's not on the roster, but I don't know. Come to think of it, is there even a tag team championship match for the belts that him and R-Truth hold? I mean, so what are they doing? It just doesn't make any sense. Julia, this makes sense. I don't know what she is, who she is. I saw a few matches of her in NXT. I thought she was just holding the belt for her tag team partner, Kalani. What's her name? Kalani James? I thought she was holding the championship for her. Eventually, I thought she might have turned on her. Kalani, if that's her name, I think. The lady who holds the handbag, who's a businesswoman in the day and the wrestling lady in the nighttime. I thought she was holding the belt for her. So I can understand why she's not on the card. But if she's the United States champion and the belt is still relatively new, why isn't that championship being defended on WrestleMania on a 2-night event? It would make sense if this is just a 1-night event. This is 2 nights. It just doesn't make any sense. Next is Rey Fenix. Yeah, I can see why he's not on the card. They haven't done anything with him. They haven't attempted to do anything with him. I think he's there just because he's Penta's brother, but they haven't done anything with him. And eventually when Penta decides to, well, not he won't decide, but when the company decides to take the Intercontinental Championship off him, and when they want to cool him off a bit, because we all know that they like to bring you up in wave, like they bring you up in a wave and they cool you off again, and they just seem to run that same pattern. Eventually, when they cool him off, they might form a tag team, and then Rey Fenix will be relevant. But outside of that, Rey Fenix, I can see why. Tiffany Stratton, oh, I'm a big Tiffy fan. Her music hits, and I'll get excited for all the right and wrong reasons. But for some reason, she's pulled off. It's so bad. She doesn't really get a reaction when she's out there. Don't get me wrong, she's really athletic. She's like, that's great and everything, but that's as far as it gets with Tiffany Stratton. It's as far as it gets. She's a body with good athleticism, and that's as far as it gets. And I think to at least miss this WrestleMania is a massive fall from grace, unless she's maybe still rehabbing an injury. Was she injured? I can't remember. Things move so fast in wrestling that it's just... Well, it's funny because things move so fast, but yet it feels so slow. I can't tell you she's injured or not the last time, but either way, there has to be a reason why, unless they plan to do something later on in the year. But I can see why she's not on this year's WrestleMania, because they haven't done anything with her. But realistically, considering what they've built up around the name Tiffany Stratton in the short period of time, she should be on there. And the last one, which I just don't understand, it's Big Sexy, Raquel. What was the point recently? Trying to build her up on Raw? Now, if I remember correctly, I think Nikki Bella is actually injured. I think she is injured, and I think that might have been the direction for her to go with. But you're telling me that Raquel couldn't have walked into WrestleMania? I'm sorry, I'm going to call her Big Sexy. She's nice. But back onto the point. Don't get distracted. I'm being serious here. Couldn't Raquel have walked into WrestleMania and beat Brie Bella? Surely she has to be on the card. I mean, I'd like maybe like a swerve, because the Judgment Day is pretty much done now. It's done. They wrecked that. I would like to see maybe she interferes in the Liv Morgan match and cost Liv Morgan the World Championship because of what happened at the Royal Rumble. Because the Judgment Day just stab each other in the back anyway, so it would make sense. But then the problem is, though, what does she do? Does she squash Liv to make her look strong? No, I don't think they'd ever do that, but what they could do, they could probably inject Raquel into the championship picture. But then again, I also think that at the moment, Raquel could still use a bit of building, but she should at least be on the WrestleMania card. I think that's everybody. Why these names are not... Well, why most of these names have missed off the WrestleMania card is beyond me. They might hold an Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and this is where we might see Rey Fenix, This is where we might see our Damian Priest, R-Truth. But again, some of these people are championship holders and they're not on the card. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. It doesn't. And it's not like the WWE don't know how to book. Triple H sat next to Vince McMahon for years. He knows what he's doing. You know, I'm convinced at this point. I'm actually convinced. On some areas of the show, he's just sinking the ship on purpose. There has to be something. And if it's not that, then they're doing it on purpose just so they can actually get clips for their Netflix show. It doesn't make any sense. But anyway, that's my take on it. I've rambled long enough. I mean, some of these names are infuriating. It is a bit annoying to kind of see that. Some of these names, they should be on the card. And I'd like to think that by some miracle, they'll find a way to get them on the card. But yeah, it's just sad. I think WWE need to get their act together. What do you think? Do you think these names should have been on the card? Or do you think it's right that they are not on the card? Let me know in the comment section and drop me a like and a subscribe. And check back in for more because I have a lot more to report on. And I'm just filming these videos shortly. See ya.